So I've been having trouble with the window winders on my Ford Galaxy, gently manoeuvring the screwdriver around until it popped up. So we're down in the door hinge now, and we've got to get this connector off here. This toothed collar is the ejector. In effect, when you turn this anti-clockwise, it will rotate and take the connector out. It'll just pull straight out. Now I've got my trusty channel locks, I think that's what you call them, or as Big Clive calls them, plumber's wrist amplifiers. And I'm just wondering whether, like everything else, this is something that they can do. I've not tried delivering children with them yet, but they are a pretty amazing tool. Oh yes, yep, that's it, it's rotating. I'm pleased about that. This is probably as far as it'll go, as the door is in the way and needs to be closed slightly. Yeah, so as you rotate it, it starts to come out. Well, it seems to be out now. Oh, I say it seems to be out now. Not entirely sure what I've done. I wonder whether I've inadvertently unscrewed it from the door frame. The sun is in my eyes, not that I'm complaining. It's giving me backache as well, leaning over the camera. Right, I'm going to have to move things out of the way and see if I can see what's going on. Well, I've worked out what I was doing wrong. I was turning it, it was undoing. There's the helix around here to get it to unscrew. But because I had the door open so wide, the back of the collar was caught behind the edge of the door. So you have to actually close the door a bit to get enough room to get the collar out. And I suppose, I wasn't taking that into account. Obviously I've got a camera in here as well on the stand, so it was a bit tricky. Now the other thing is the connector, I think, that's in the door in here, you can just see, should be fixed to the frame, I would have thought, because it goes in and out now, so the chances are when try to put this back in, it's just going to go back inside. It's not going to connect. Now I've had a look, and if you take off this fuse box cover, you can just reach in behind here. I may have to drop a couple of screws out just to pull the dash away slightly to get my hand in, but I'm rather hoping I can get something in behind to hold this in place. And I think there's a ring which has just fallen on the floor, which is probably what holds it in position. I took some wobbly GoPro footage of me trying to put the connector back into the door frame, and I'll put that up as a separate video, otherwise it's going to make this one far too long. Well, this is the ring. It's got it's got half a dozen little pegs, which I'm assuming will somehow clip into this. So this will go back on there somewhere. Anyway, we'll have to see in a moment. Oh, and interestingly, this came out of the door, and lo and behold, I have a broken wire. Realised that this wire isn't going to reach to this connector, so I might not have to take this end apart at all, because in fact if I pull the sleeving back, I can find the other end of the wire, and slightly disturbingly I suppose, I can see that there's another wire in there that's chafing, was split, and so that's going to be on its way. And I think these twisted red and red-brown wires, which possibly are the speaker feed, I don't know, they're starting to crack as well. Not really sure what to do. I'm going to have to put some sort of extra strain relief in here, I suppose, and somehow I'm going to have to join these two back together. So a bit more thinking and then find a solution. So aside from having disassembled this connector, which I'm going to have to resolve. I've got to somehow join these two together again, and I think that against my better judgment, the only thing I can do is to solder these two back together, because there is no slack. I'm going to solder those two back together there, and then I'm going to have to wrap tape round them, not so much for the insulation, but to try to stop them from bending, because obviously wherever I solder it, there's going to be a hard spot. That hard spot is simply going to break, and it'll just break either side of the solder, which is not good. So first off, we need to strip a bit of bare copper wire here, not much, just enough. It's tough stuff, this. That's it. Got it. This is going to be the tricky one. Actually, this will be a bit easier to use the wire stripper on. If I can reach that. I don't want to nick any of the conductors, which is why I'm being a bit careful about how hard I press the blades in. Spent too much time chatting to a mate, and I'd left the camera on. I know I've got a flat battery, so new battery. Yeah, that looks okay. Not quite sure how I'm going to hold all this. While I do the soldering. What's going through my mind is some clamps, some mole grips. Is it gone now? Why don't you just do this? You could just do that. I think that's how it's going to have to go, like that. And I've got some rubberized tape that I'm going to stick around it. Right, let's get those bits of copper wire tinned. Right. problem with stranded cable when you try to solder it is that of course it just wicks up all the solder doing it outside with an 18-watt iron probably isn't helping either. And a nice big thick bit of copper wire is sinking all the heat away. I have got a selection of soldering iron bits. And when it comes to the actual attempt to solder it together, so most of the solder's not going on there anyway. Yeah, I may use a bigger iron when it comes to the actual soldering of the two bits together. I may have to use a bigger iron. But this has got a nice narrow tip on it. That's why I'm persevering with this one. I tell you what, it must be worse watching this than actually doing it. I might cut this bit out though. Is there any way I can hold this back and hold the iron and hold the solder? I'm sorry if this is dragging on a bit, but if I just showed you it done, you wouldn't get any idea of the level of difficulty involved. Not that it's particularly difficult, it's just, as you can see, it's a bit tricky. Yeah, that's just what I needed to do. Drop the solder. Right, I've managed to roll this back, which reminded me, that's the biggest drawback of the jungle. And stuck these mole grips on there. And now, hopefully, I can get a decent tinning on this. I don't want to spend too long on it because where the mole grips are, it'll become hot and it'll damage the insulation, which of course the object of the exercise is to repair the insulation. Yeah, I think this is definitely suffering from not having enough heat. Well, I've got the biggie out now. I think I've gone from 18 to 85 watts. So this should do the business. It's still a slow process. There's a lot of copper there. Can't quite get the right angle either. That's better. And the other thing, of course, is if I leave this with lots of sharp bits on it, it's going to cut through all of the other cables. Right, let's see what the aftermath is. That's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. The damage lower down. Oh, this is horrid. So I'm not sure I could have, well, I don't think I could have got a crimp connector on there. That would have made even more of a solid connection. It had been quite long, you know, a set of crimp connections would have been, they're really quite long. Well, that is joined back together. It's not pivoting, so it's not just a point. Oh, I don't know. That backside's not perfect. Well, none of it's perfect. I should say that backside's not even close. I don't want to encourage the whole joint to melt. I just want to integrate these strands into the join. If I put it on for too long, the whole thing will come undone, and then I'll be back at the beginning. Except I'll have a lot of solder on it, and it will not be a good thing. Well, that's different. No, that's better. That's better. Now, obviously I've got to keep this one and that one apart. So I'm just going to pop some tape on there. Get to that brown wire on its own. There we go. This isn't sticky tape. It's self-amalgamating tape. So if it gets hot, it won't go all sticky and come off. It's a sort of a rubber tape. And I'm going to put another bit round the repair I've just done. That's repair in inverted commas. I suppose this is the point where I say, let me know in the comments if you think I should have just shown it repaired and not had to make you sit through all of this. Of course, those sorts of remarks are merely to drive interaction for the YouTube algorithm. What I'm trying to do is just fix my car electric windows, and somebody else can benefit from it as well. That's a bonus. Just doing a quick calculation involving a pi. Oh, come on. Let's make sure it starts far enough down. Right. Just hold that there for a little while whilst I try to work out where on earth I've put that locking ring. I've obviously put it down somewhere. Oh, should I put some electrical tape on that as well? Maybe. A little sticky and horrible, but because they do. Even the birds are laughing at me now. Oops. I'm not progressing very far. Yeah, progress is not a word I'd use there. Why wouldn't I have just put that ring in the footwell of the car? Why? Oops, stop leaning against the camera. Wow. Right. Well, sometime later, as they say. In there. So, I've got it back together. What did I learn? The little ring that I couldn't find earlier. Well, that goes in here behind the bit that turns. Unfortunately, it also turns. So if while you're undoing this bit, which just unscrews conventionally anti-clockwise, that starts to turn, you need to push it back, because otherwise you can have the same issue that I did. You have to take the piece of plastic out of the door. I couldn't show you this because there's just not enough room, but you have to take the plastic out of the door and then pull the rubber gaiter through from the inside, and then eventually you can get it to seat. It might pay to put a teeny bit of washing up liquid on there, but I didn't want to do that because if I made it slippery I probably wouldn't be able to get hold of it at all. But anyway, that's that. Now of course I've actually got to test the electric windows and I hope that they work after all this. Okay, let's see if it works. Well, that's good, yeah. Open. So just a momentary action onto the first switch position. Does exactly what it should. That's fine. The other side, just operating the first switch. It's going down a bit at a time. Press the second switch and it goes all the way. Press the second switch. It's gone all the way. Excellent. Back ones. That one still bounces, but only the first time. So it seems to be working. That's excellent. In case this video hasn't helped you fix yours and you want to take apart this, take a look here for part 1.